On November 18, 2025, the nation's capital became the backdrop for a defining moment in the ongoing fight for justice for the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse. At a press conference held in front of the US Capitol, survivors of the disgraced financier's sexual exploitation joined lawmakers in a powerful plea to hold those responsible accountable as the House of Representatives prepared to vote on a critical decision, the release of government files on Epstein, which had been kept under wraps for years. The vote would set the stage for an intense battle, one that involved not only the victims seeking justice, but also political forces, including President Donald Trump, who had worked to prevent such a release. This was a moment charged with emotion, defiance, and the hope of a reckoning. Among those leading the charge was Jena-Lisa Jones, a survivor who had bravely stepped forward to tell her story. Holding up a photograph of herself at the tender age of 14, she addressed the gathered media. "This was me at 14 years old," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "I was a child. I was in 9th grade. I was hopeful for life and what the future had held for me. He stole a lot for me." The image she held up, a stark reminder of the innocent girl she once was, cut through the crowd like a beacon of truth. Her words carried the weight of a lifetime of pain as she urged the nation to recognize the human cost of Epstein's actions and demand accountability from those in power. Another survivor, Danielle Bensky, also shared a deeply personal moment, revealing a photo of herself at 17. It was clear that for these survivors, the photos represented more than just memories. They were painful symbols of lost innocence, of trust shattered by a powerful predator. Both Bensky and Jones spoke with a shared conviction. They were not just fighting for their own healing, but for the millions of children and women affected by sexual violence and exploitation. Their courage was palpable, and as their stories echoed through the Capitol steps, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle listened. Among the lawmakers present were Representatives Ro Khanna, Thomas Massie, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who took part in the press conference, each voicing their support for the release of the Epstein files. While their political affiliations might have seemed worlds apart, there was one thing they agreed on in that moment: the importance of bringing the truth to light. Greene, known for her fiery rhetoric and controversial views, spoke of the upcoming vote, predicting a near-unanimous decision in favor of releasing the Epstein files. But, as she pointed out, that vote was just the beginning. The real challenge, she said, would come afterward. The question would not be whether the House voted to release the files, but whether the Department of Justice would take action to ensure the files were made public. Today, you're going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files, Greene said, but the real fight will happen after that. Her words highlighted the ongoing struggle for transparency and accountability in the wake of Epstein's crimes. While the vote was an important step, it was clear that the battle over these documents would be far from over. Greene's concerns centered on whether the Department of Justice would allow the truth to be fully disclosed, or whether the powerful forces behind Epstein's network would continue to exert control over the narrative. As the press conference unfolded, Haley Robson, another survivor of Epstein's abuse, addressed the political leaders and the nation directly. In a passionate plea, she emphasized that this issue transcended party politics. "It's time that we put the political agenda and party affiliations to the side," she declared. "This is a human issue. This is about children. There is no place in society for exploitation, sexual crimes, or exploitation of women in society. There's no room for it, guys. We're not having it." Robson's words rang out with a clear demand for action. This was not about partisan bickering. It was about ending the exploitation of vulnerable individuals and ensuring that perpetrators, no matter how powerful, face justice. Robson did not shy away from directing her message at President Trump, who had long been associated with Epstein due to their past ties. While Trump had publicly changed his stance on the release of the files, Robson expressed skepticism about his true intentions. "To the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you," she said. "While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help but be skeptical of what the agenda is." Robson made it clear that while she appreciated Trump's public shift, she could not ignore the history of his ties to Epstein and the surrounding controversy. So with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid, she stated, laying bare the emotional weight of her words. Jones, too, turned her attention to Trump, pleading with him to stop politicizing the issue. I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political, she implored. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. Her emotional appeal underscored the deep frustration felt by the survivors who had long been caught in a system that prioritized power and politics over the pursuit of justice. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment, Jones continued, her words piercing through the rhetoric that had surrounded Epstein's case. The emotional distress of this fight had taken its toll on Jones, who reflected on the shifting positions of the administration. First, the administration said it would release everything and applauded President Trump for that, she said. Then it fought to release nothing. The mixed messages had only added to the confusion and distrust surrounding the issue. For survivors like Jones and Robson, the battle was not just for the release of documents. It was about restoring their voices and ensuring that those who had suffered at the hands of Epstein were finally heard and believed. As the press conference drew to a close, the survivors and their supporters knew that the real challenge was still ahead. While the vote to release the Epstein files was a significant step, the fight for justice would continue long after the headlines faded. The political wrangling, the influence of powerful figures, and the ongoing struggle to ensure that the truth came to light would shape the course of this chapter in history. For Jones, Robson, and the other survivors, the fight for justice was not just a matter of politics, it was a matter of humanity. And as they left the Capitol that day, their message was clear. The truth must be told, and those responsible must be held accountable. The nation and the world would be watching closely as this critical moment in the Epstein case unfolded.
Hello, everybody. I am Jena-Lisa Jones, and just as Haley, I would just like to give a little reminder that this was me at 14 years old. I was a child. I was in 9th grade. I was hopeful for life and what the future had held for me. He stole a lot from me.
Good job. Well, honey. You're incredible.
Hello, everybody. My name is Danny Bensky. This was me at 17 years old.
President at his word when he says he's going to sign this bill, and do you have confidence that these files will actually be released?
I only take people's actions. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Rose. I woke up. And today you are going to see probably a unanimous vote in the House to release the Epstein files. But the fight, the real fight, will happen after that. But the real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files? Or will it all remain tied up in investigations?
It's time that we put the political agendas and party affiliations to the side. This is a human issue. This is about children. There is no place in society for exploitation, sexual crimes, or exploitation of women in society. There's no room for it, guys. We're not having it. And to the President of the United States of America, who is not here today, I want to send a clear message to you. While I do understand that your position has changed on the Epstein files, and I'm grateful that you have pledged to sign this bill, I can't help to be skeptical of what the agenda is. So, with that being said, I want to relay this message to you. I am traumatized. I am not stupid. So I am begging every member of Congress, every representative, to step up and choose the chaos.
I beg you, President Trump, please stop making this political. It is not about you, President Trump. You are our president. Please start acting like it. Show some class. Show some real leadership. Show that you actually care about the people other than yourself. I voted for you, but your behavior on this issue has been a national embarrassment. Emotionally, this process has been distressing. First, the administration said it would release everything. and applauded President Trump for that. Then it fought to release nothing.